What is up, chocolatiers? Would you believe it if I told you that Blumhouse made a decent movie this year? But then it's kind of ruined when you realize, oh wait, this is a remake from a film that came out 2 years ago. 2 fucking years! It needed a remake, apparently. I was like, what the fuck is this, Last of Us? They're making remakes. I can't wait for the season 1 remake, by the way. You know it's going to happen. They're like, we're adding more scenes. Let's get right into it. Speak No Evil is the next film from Blumhouse Entertainment. It stars James McAvoy, and it's about, if you've seen the original, you actually know it's pretty to the T of that. They just really drastically changed it. The ending's completely fucking different. Now, I will say this, as somebody who goes, man, I really appreciate the themes of the original, but you were like, kind of wish it would have ended a little differently. This might be for you to actually. So basically this family meets James McAvoy's family on a little Tour de France. They go to like Italy or some shit, Venice. I can't remember where they said they was at. And basically they kind of just are the type of people, and you know them. There's plenty of them out there. Hell, you might be one watching this. They just can't say no. They just can't say no. I know so many people like that. Right now, they might be laying in bed and might be like, hey, I made up plans. I'm going to watch Halloween movies all day. And their friend might be like, hey, you want to go do something? Oh my God, I actually knew somebody like this to the T. Can't say much, or they'll fucking come for my ass. But, yeah, I would be like, hey, you trying to hang out, this and that? And they'd be like, yeah. And then, like, it turns out a year later, they're like, I actually didn't want to do any of that. It's like, motherfucker, you can say no! No! Okay, you can say that. And so that's why I actually think that most people should watch this movie, or at least the original, because it actually has a good message about the themes of how far we'll go to please somebody, or doing something that you don't actually want to do because, you know, once again, you can't just say no. And basically, they get invited to go like to their home in the country, and they go out here. Once again, they don't know these fucking people. They go out here and they do this, and then that's kind of when craziness goes awry. And once again, this movie kind of hits close to home because having a bunch of friends / people that I know that cannot say no or do crazy shit like this, like meeting somebody in the woods for something, and I'm just like, I'm good. Or dude, I swear, I promise you I know people like this, on God. This movie, the whole time I was watching, I was like, this is what I'm talking about. This could fucking happen. They don't believe it, though. They don't believe it. The shit's wild out here in these streets, okay? You couldn't catch my black ass going anywhere in the woods to meet somebody to go buy some shit. Fuck that noise, okay? Like right now, if my homie hit me up right now and said, hey, bro, you trying to go do something? I got plans tonight. I'm going to be like, nah, man, I'm good. We can do something next week. Like, I promise you, I know some people that will be like, yeah, sure. Like, bro, don't put yourself in that situation if you don't. Like, what the fuck? Hell no. And so the whole time I was watching this movie, I was like, bro, what the fuck is wrong with these people? So, as you can probably tell, I actually enjoyed this film a lot. James McAvoy steals the show. I don't know any of the other actors' names. I actually have seen the wife to the Good Family. I guess that's what we'll call them, the Good and Bad Family. The Good Family, I've seen the wife in a lot of stuff. I actually believe that last thing I saw her in was Terminator Genesis. Is it Genesis? I don't remember which one it was called. It was whatever that one was, and they brought fucking Homegirl back. But overall, I really like this movie. I'm trying to compare it as a remake. I will say this, like I said at the beginning of the video, the only thing they really they changed some shit up, clearly. Like, there's like a scene where somebody goes back for a bear, and, you know, it's actually in the house, but in the original, it was just actually in the car. That's a big twist. It's like, oh, fuck, it's in there. But outside of that, everything else is pretty much to the T, except for the ending. The ending, it works for me ending-wise, but as far as, like, a big anticlimactic, like, piece, I was like, yeah, this is some Hollywood American cinema stuff right here. Like, they have to just have this. I'm not going to get into spoilers, though, but if you've seen this, you know what I'm talking about. At last third act, I was like, yeah, it's some shit we do. Like, okay. But outside of that, you know, I really love the themes of this movie. You know, I really, you know, that's one of the reasons why I love the original. I think that the themes of the movie is great. James McAvoy just has this presence, which I mean, if you see him in Split, you know what I'm talking about. He just has like this craziness to him where like one minute he's like throwing shit at this kid or like making innuendos about beating his wife. There's literally a fucking scene where I can't remember what she says. His wife says something that's funny, as like it's goofy or some shit, and he's like, "Oh man," he said, "I only do the beatings around here," or something like that. He says something like that, and I was sitting there like, "Yeah, I bet you do. That's fucking wild, bro." And like, you know, you can pick up on shit. I feel like this is the type of movie if I watched again, you'd pick up on more shit that he does. But I just really think that the Good Family just does such a. I love that's what I'm calling them now. The Good Family, Bad Family. The Good Family is just, you know, one of those types of families like I've said before, where they just can't say no. They just go with whatever and stuff like that. And so when they're brought into this, you know, you have this kind of push and pull. First, the wife's kind of like, yeah, let's go and do it. Make her husband happy. That's another thing. That's what I mean. It's like she didn't even really want to do it, but she wants to make him happy. It's like, no, stand your ground. Just say, fuck you. We're not going. And so everybody's wanting to make somebody happy. And so, you know, they go there. They do that. You know, multiple things happen. I will say this. I think out of anything that they should have changed from the original is a scene with a stuffed elephant. So, once again, don't want to get into spoilers, but at one point, there's a scene involving a stuffed elephant that might be the most mind-boggling thing ever. Now, for all the people out there going, stupid decisions, eat my ass. I'm so tired of seeing this shit when you have like a horror movie or like a thriller, which by the way, I classify it as more of a thriller. I think you could say horror just because of the shit that they do. Like James McAvoy and them have done some fucked up things. Don't really show it, but they, you know, it's insinuated. And it's just one of those things where we're like, I don't know, like it gets to you, it hits close to home, it's sad. But it's also one of those things where I always hate it whenever the audience always goes, oh, they make dumb decisions. I'd be smart as fuck. Okay, for starters, I already know I'd be smart as fuck, and I wouldn't have went with these random people. So I'll give you that. But if you were in this situation, you went there, some of the choices they make, I feel like, I just don't know how you would do better necessarily. Like, outside of the elephant scene, I'm telling you right now, I would have kept going. Okay, fuck that shit. I would have kept going. But I'm just saying, I just feel like we've gotten so conditioned to where everybody thinks they're Billy Badass and they think they would do better. I don't know if you've seen how James McAvoy's built, but I'm telling you right now, half the people watching this shit, including myself, I couldn't take him in a fight. Okay, you probably couldn't either. And I'm sure you got some countries out there going, oh, I got my gun. Okay, guess what? He has a gun too at some point in this movie. Like, James McAvoy's beating our ass the way he's built. That motherfucker's scary as hell. He's like some fucking Jack from The Shining. He's come through there, like doing that shit. And it's badass, you know. I really like the third act. I really think it's cool. Especially considering that James McAvoy kind of has that split thing going on where he's doing the crazy, but sometimes he's good. And so when he kind of like fully comes out, it's a sight to behold. I was like, man, this is why this man needs more jobs. I love James. I think overall, that this movie didn't necessarily pleasantly surprise me, because like I said, if you see the original, then it's the same thing. But I do like where they take the story. I like how they changed the ending. I actually like kind of what they did with the theme of that ending and how it ends and goes off. I saw people leaving, because before this I watched The Killer's Game, and they're like, that ending sucked. I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. If anything, everybody should love this ending compared to the original, if anything. I think it was really good. I think that Blumhouse finally gave us a good fucking movie this year. Okay, every movie I've seen this year of theirs has been fucking dog shit, and I've given it less than a 5 or a 5 on the dot. And so with this movie, I think I'm going to give this a solid 8.5. 8.5 out of 10. I think it doesn't go over those scales because outside of the third act, there's a lot they don't change. Like, pretty much down to, like, scenes with characters. Like, for example, the wife. is a vegetarian. And there's so many scenes where James McAvoy just goes, "Oh," like they argue, and that happens in the original. And there's just like they change up a lot, but I just wished it, considering how drastically they changed the ending, I just wish there would have been more differences. Like, you know, but outside of that, I'm not fully grading it for that. I think I'm mainly just giving it 8.5 just because for me personally, I just don't think it burst to those ceilings. Like Channing Tatum. I don't think it goes to those ceilings. I think that you get some interesting performances from the kids and stuff like that. I just think that where the payoff lies when you find out what they do, I feel like they could have not necessarily built up that tension. They just built up the tension so well. And then when they kind of reveal it, you're like, oh, that's kind of scary and creepy. But I feel like they don't go too far with it like I was really wanting them to. But still a solid film all the less. If you are wanting to see this movie, I definitely recommend. This movie's getting a Mr. Chocolate Silver approval as well. I think it is that good. Definitely good for this type of season we're in, especially if you just saw Beetlejuice. Yeah, definitely check out this movie. And with that, I hope that you check out that subscribe button and go ahead and hit that like button. And with that, I'll catch you guys on the next one.
Shy Louise, got a great body.
Oh, thank you.
I love my popcorn. Movies, popcorn.